Hi, my name is Charles Knight, President and Founder of Healthcraft Corporation. You know, not too long ago, we started our company in the garage you see right across the street here. So, you know, who says the American opportunity is dead? Today we're in 36 states in Canada, and we're a multi-million-dollar corporation. And the interesting thing about our products is they're all American made. Now that's Americans' jobs for America's future. Now, we're going to show you how to use your new cookware today, so let's go inside and take a look at it. Welcome to our home. When you first receive your Healthcraft waterless and greaseless cookware, you'll notice it'll be in a big box like this. Now, you might receive 1, 2, or 3 boxes depending on what you purchased. For example, a Chef Tell Total Kitchen comes in 3 boxes with the kitchen helpers. Now, these boxes are a little bit heavy, so you might need a little bit of help moving it around. And I opened mine on the floor like you see here, so it's easy to get things in and out. When you first open the box, you'll notice you'll find some cleaner, the videotape you're now watching, and a recipe and instruction book. Now, what you want to do is finish watching the tape, read through the first 14 pages of the book, and then you're ready to go. Inside the large box, you'll find smaller boxes. This is the #1 basic set. Every one of the sets has its own box, as well as the kitchen helpers. Now, we're going to take this over to the sink and clean it right now, and then we'll show you how to cook with it. Now that I've got my coat and tie off, let me show you how to clean Healthcraft cookware the first time. In the recipe and instruction book, it'll tell you everything you need to know on page 3 and 4, but let me show you. Healthcraft is made out of a T304S Van titanium surgical steel with nichromium. It's beautiful when it comes out of the box, isn't it? But it still has machine oils and polishing compounds on it. So it's very important that you wash it properly the first time. I've filled up a basin with warm soapy water. To that I'm going to add 2 cups of white distilled vinegar, and I'm going to let every piece soak for about 10 or 15 minutes. Then all you have to do is rinse it with hot water, let it drain, dry it with a paper towel or dish rag, and you're ready to go. Now, if you get any blue or brown stains on the cookware the first time you use it, all that means is that you've got some of the machine oils and polishing compounds burned on the pan. Don't get excited. What you use is some of that Barkeeper's Friend, the sample we had in there, put it on the pan, dry, go around with a paper towel or a damp rag, and that'll take the blue or brown stains off. Now, make sure you stop down the store and pick up some Cameo or Barkeeper's Friend, because that'll help you keep the pans nice and clean. Once you've got them dried, you're ready to cook. Let's go. This is Healthcraft. The company that makes this for us has been making cookware since the early part of the century. Healthcraft cookware is guaranteed in writing not to warp, buckle, bend, pit, chip, corrode, or wear out. Anything happens to it, we'll replace it absolutely free. You see, what we did is we took the old heavy cast aluminum pan, the best cooking pan you can buy. We wrapped it in a new space-age heat-conducting core so it cooks from the bottom up, the sides, and then the top down. Then we wrapped it again in surgical steel. 5 plies of metal bonded together so it heats evenly, retains its heat. Surgical steel, inside and out, so you never have to use Brillo. Hot soapy water in the dish rag will get it clean. And it's not one of those phony slab bottom pans. As you can see, it's 5 ply all the way through. And look at this. Self-storing covers so you don't have to go on a treasure hunt looking for your lids. All your lids fit right inside. You can hang the entire set up, or you can stack it up in 1 or 2 neat piles. When you're ready to cook, you just flip your lid. All your handles and tops come off for easy cleaning. No screws, rivets, and weld marks on the inside to collect last week's stew. You ever reached down on a hot pan without thinking, burned your fingers? We put a nice high wide disc on here to protect them. We even put brass furrows and expansion rings inside the tops. That's so your lids don't strip on you. See, we don't want your lids stripping in front of your kids anyway. See, you'll get these jokes tomorrow. Right? Safety grip handles on both sides, not one long handle. You got to lug around the kitchen with dresses, pot holders, and aprons, but 2 handles on every single pan, so whether you're left-handed, right-handed, or both-handed, it's easy to hold. And look at this. Flame guards on every single handle protect your handles, so even when the pans are very hot on top of the stove, you don't need dresses and pot holders and aprons to lug them around the kitchen. And these handles will go in the oven up to 450 degrees. The dishwasher, they're perfectly safe. 3 turns of the screw, the handle comes off for easy cleaning replacement. The name, address, zip code, and phone number is right on the side of the pan, so you always know where you are. Now, if you ever break a top or a handle, all you do is call the number here or refer to your recipe and instruction book, and they'll tell you how to get a new handle absolutely free. The only thing you pay for ever is shipping. There's many great features with Healthcraft cookware, but the most important feature is the vapor vent. Now, don't be fooled by imitations of lookalikes. Make sure you look for the vent and the arrow. You know you've got the right cookware. The way it works is simple. Here you can see the arrow. When the vent is faced towards the arrow, that means the vent is open. When you turn the vent away from the arrow, that means it's closed. Now here's something you can remember if you never pick up the recipe and instruction book. Anytime you're going to cook chicken steaks, chops, or eggs, you always cook on a medium or medium-high flame. Anytime you cook soup, stew, spaghetti sauce, cook on a low flame. They are cooked with the vent open. Everything else, the vent is closed. Chicken steaks and chops are cooked on a medium flame. Everything else is cooked on low. Healthcraft cookware is divided into 5 sets of cookware. There's no duplication, so you can build a collection any way you want. This is the number 1, the basic set. And the basic set includes the 1-quart saucepan and cover. This is perfect if you cook for 1 or 2. You can cook 3 or 4 different vegetables in the same pan at the same time. And then if you cook for 4, 5, or 6, this will hold 2 8-ounce packages of frozen peas, carrots, corn, or broccoli. This is the 2-quart. This will hold a half a head of cabbage, a whole head of broccoli or cauliflower. When I first got married, my wife cooked spaghetti sauce here and spaghetti in the 3-quart from the number 3 set. This here is a covered saute skillet. Now, like all of our cookware, you can change the handles if you like. I happen to like 2 side handles, but you can take this off and screw a long handle on so you can put a long handle on this particular piece. We use this for sauteing mushrooms and onions, and the nice thing about it, it's a covered saute skillet. A lot of saute skillets are not covered today. This is also good for small quantities of meat. You can use it for chicken, steaks, chops, burgers. Right? This here is your double boiler. You notice it's 3-tiered. It fits into 3 different pans. It fits in the 2-quart here from the number 1 set, and it also fits in the 3-quart from the number 3 set and the 4-quart from the number 5 set. That's all in your recipe and instruction book. But this is good for things you can't put on direct flames like puddings, icings, warming up leftovers. Now, let's say you cook for 1 or 2. You're not going to cook a whole roast in the oven, but would you cook a Cornish hen or a London broil or a small roast beef on top of the stove? You can do that simply by inverting the 2-quart upside down on top of the saute skillet. You can also stack cook. Put another vegetable in here with the vent closed on a low flame. When the top is hot to touch, you can stack it. That entire meal will cook in 50 minutes, 10 minutes less than an hour. Now, I can go on and on with this particular collection, but let's go to the number 2. This is the number 2 roast and broil set. The nice thing about this set, you get a lot of different cooking combinations. For example, this is the large, deep conventional skillet. Nobody makes a deep conventional skillet like this. And this right here, this is your 6.5-quart roaster bottom. Here is the 4.5-quart roaster top. Now, you can use this as a deep skillet, and this is a deep skillet. So if you're cooking a whole bunch of extra chicken that night, you can do that too. You can use the high dome cover on top of here as a chicken roaster. Roast a whole chicken on top of the stove in 35 to 40 minutes. Invert it, you got a Dutch oven for corned beef and cabbage. See, with Healthcraft, because of the 5-ply construction, even through some of the lids, you can cook either way. It doesn't make any difference. You can also use it over here and do up to about a 15-pound standing rib roast. All your lids are interchangeable. For example, here's a good cooking combination. Take a large roast, preheat the pan, drop the roast in the pan and brown it on all sides. Take 3 stalks of celery, 1 onion, cut it up on the kitchen machine, lay it around the roast. That'll form your condiment, gravy, and flavoring. Then put your whole potatoes and carrots around the roast. This is a utility rack, steamer rack, the most important part of the set. With this, you get all your different cooking combinations. Place that on top of the 6.5-quart. Now this here is the double boiler for the number 1 set that I've shown you before. You can use this for your favorite cake mix or cornbread. Put your cake mix or cornbread in here, cover it. You cook a roast, potatoes, carrots, condiment, and gravy cake all in one pan. And you're not done yet. You can put corn on the cob in here, put it on a low flame with the vent closed. When the top is hot to touch, you can stack it. That entire meal cooks in 50 minutes, 10 minutes less than an hour. Medium rare. Not a pot roast, but a roast beef. Now this set of cookware will do over 40 different cooking combinations for you. So no matter what you cook, you can cook it in Healthcraft. Here's another good one for you. Put a meatloaf in here. Put your rack on. Lay corn on the cob across the top. Put your high dome cover on it. Cook the entire meal on top of the stove. That'll cook in 30 to 40 minutes. Healthcraft cookware is unique and different. With this set of cookware, you get many cooking combinations. We'll see you with the next set in just a minute. This is the number 3 completer set. Now this set is basically designed to complete the number 1 set and use in conjunction with that particular set. For example, you get the 3-quart and cover. This is used for soup, stew, spaghetti sauce, all your big cooking. This is a steamer strainer for steaming clams, snails, shrimp, warming up leftovers, baby foods. And you get your egg poacher for poaching eggs, bacon, biscuits, and muffins. Dr. Lyndon Smith, the famous baby doctor, is one of our customers, and he'll tell you that poached eggs are the healthiest to cook and the easiest to digest, so poached eggs are back. We're going to use this as a steamer rack. Put a ham roast in here with sweet potatoes and pearl onions. Apples in here with the cinnamon stick stuck through the apple. Use your 2-quart as a high dome cover from the number 1 set. There's a small roaster. That entire meal cooks on top of the stove in just 30 minutes. 1 set of cooker will give you many cooking combinations. You can also use the steamer strainer in conjunction with the 3-quart for fancy recipes. For example, put a little red wine in here. Put artichokes and lobster tails here. Cover it, open the vent. That'll cook in about 15-20 minutes on top of the stove. When you're finished, you just take a little bit of cornstarch, a little bit of sherry, mix that together, dip your artichokes and lobster in there. You think you died and went to heaven. It's so good. All right, stay tuned. We're going to show you the number 4 set next. This is the number 4 gourmet set. Now this is designed and engineered by world-famous Chef Tell. You've probably seen him on PM Magazine and Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous and Regis and Kathy Lee. This is a small 7-inch gourmet skillet. Now every pan has a purpose, and there's a purpose for every pan. This pan has a very distinct purpose. It's for making those eggs. You ever see the eggs when you go to the breakfast restaurants? They have 2 or 3 eggs and they're perfectly round. You ever wonder how they do that? Scissors. No. What they do is they use a gourmet pan about this size. Now, the key to good eggs is very simple. Just put it on a medium-high flame, put a little bit of oil in the pan because eggs don't have their own natural lubricant. Take a paper towel and wipe the oil all around the pan. When the pan gets good and hot, crack your eggs on a flat surface, put 2 or 3 eggs in here. In a minute or 2, you know they'll start to move around as you move the pan. And when you're ready, just push them like you see here. That'll flip. The first time you try that, do it over the sink. This is the 10-inch gourmet skillet or omelet pan. Now, we're going to show you how to make omelets in this. Now, contrary to popular belief, you do not flip omelets or turn them with a spatula. You actually push them. You see, it's very simple and easy to use. Of course, you can use this for other things. This is good for small quantities of stir-fried vegetables and Chinese dishes and things of that nature. Right here is the chef's pan. This is a full 13 inches, the largest pan in the industry. This is great for pasta primavera, seafood alla grecque, southern fried chicken, stir-fried vegetables, all your big cooking. I like to use this when we go camping. And over here, my favorite pan, the dessert pan. This is the flambe pan, the one you do all your flaming desserts with. Now, I like to use it as a breakfast skillet. Matter of fact, the other day, my young daughter had a bunch of kids over for a pajama party, and we did pancakes in the morning. It's just perfect for that. Heats evenly, retains its heat. And you can also use it for baking on top of the stove. We've done a pizza in this. We've done other things like a pineapple upside down cake. There's a lot of fun you can have with our cookware. So that's your large 14-inch flambe pan. Don't go away. I'm going to show you the number 5 set next. This is the number 5 commercial set. These are all the big pans. You get your 12-quart master roaster, your 7-quart, that's the tall 7-quart, with the new deep spaghetti cooker and deep fryer, and you also get your 4.5-quart junior roaster. You know the nice thing about these big pans? You can do 12 quarts of spaghetti sauce on one burner, and you can fry the paste, cook the meat, and everything else. Matter of fact, my wife's Italian. We cook 12 quarts of spaghetti sauce every single Sunday, whether we need it or not. She'll do the meat in here, fry the paste, put all the ingredients in the pan, put it on simmer, open the vent, and the spaghetti sauce cooks till we come home from church. The most delicious spaghetti sauce you ever had in your life. Because the pans are 5-ply, not only across the bottom and up the sides, you don't have to stand there and stir and mix all day. This is the new 7-quart. This is brand new. It also comes with the new 7-quart steamer strainer. Now this fits down inside as a spaghetti cooker. Put a little bit of water in here, put your spaghetti in, cover it, open the vent, the spaghetti will cook in just a matter of 15-20 minutes. And the nice thing about it, you leave a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan, and you know how Italian families are. You've got spaghetti all day. This will actually stay warm all day long on a very, very low flame. Absolutely delicious spaghetti every time. And over here you've got your new 4-quart. This will fit down inside as a deep fryer. You know, I have 3 children, and you take 3 children to McDonald's, you know, it's the national debt, and they don't go for the food, they go for the French fries and the toys, you see. And I got smart one day, so I got the food cutter out, and I got the little one, I showed them how to use the food cutter, and I went out in the garage. About an hour later, I come back, and I don't know if you've ever seen 5 pounds of potatoes cut up, but it's about this high and about this wide. So we filled this pan half full of oil, put the French fries in here, dropped them down inside, and I got the kids doing this. And the nice thing about it, if you teach your children how to cook, McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's can't teach them how to eat. 5 or 6 minutes later, you pull this out. See the little feet on the bottom? You put this on a brown paper bag, let it drain. The most delicious French fries you ever had in your life. And see, French fries are not bad for you. It's what you cook them in that's bad for you. Let me show you one other new feature. A lot of you are familiar with our new liquid core electric skillet. Well, we've got a little extra feature that no other cookware has. You can take the 12 quart, put it on top of the electric skillet, and do up to a 17-pound turkey on top of the stove in less than 3 hours. And there's a lot of other good cooking combinations coming up. You know, minerals and vitamins are water and grease soluble. If you cook your vegetables in water, your meats in grease, you dissolve out the minerals, vitamins, and taste. Even if you just use a little bit of water. Once you go above the boiling temperature, you can smell the vegetables cooking. You're losing the precious minerals and vitamins your body needs to live on. For example, did you ever cook cabbage? The whole neighborhood knows what you're going to have for dinner. What you smell escaping into the air is the phosphorus, the magnesium, the iron, the sulfur. The only thing that's left is the gas. So I'm going to show you today how to cook first waterless, then greaseless. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to cook 2 or 3 vegetables in the same pan at the same time. You know, if you bake a potato in the oven, it takes you about 35 to 45 minutes to cook it. Vegetables on top of the stove, frozen or fresh, will take another 25 to 30 minutes. Before you know it, you've got an hour and a half into your dinner and nothing's done. With Healthcraft, you can cook 3 vegetables on one burner on a medium-low or low flame in just 15 to 25 minutes. For example, I'm going to cook 2 baked potatoes, broccoli, and some carrots. Now, the only thing you have to do is rinse the vegetables with a little bit of cold water because they dehydrate from harvesting. Then you pour all the water off. Just the water that clings to the vegetables is what you need to cook in. That's waterless cooking. Now, look at the color of this water. That's cold water. Could you imagine what happens if you pressure cook, steam, or boil? All you have to do is pour all the water off, put it on a low or simmer flame with the vent closed, and these vegetables will cook up in just 25 minutes. Here's your vegetables cooked on top of the stove in about 20 to 25 minutes. There's your broccoli. Look at the beautiful bright colors. And look at this. Here's baked potatoes we cooked on top of the stove all the way through in just 20 minutes. That's how simple and easy it is to cook the Healthcraft way. Now, frozen vegetables, you do basically the same thing. Now, normally they have a lot of moisture on them, so you don't have to rinse them with any water whatsoever. With waterless cooking, it's very important to fill the pan as near the top as possible. And we're going to cook the same way. We're going to cook with the lid on, the vent closed, on a low heat, lower simmer. And those frozen vegetables will cook up in about 10 to 15 minutes. So remember, frozen vegetables 10 to 15 minutes, and your fresh vegetables will cook in 15 to 25 minutes. Now, here's 2 very important features that you must understand. You'll notice that I've used the right size burner. On the 1 quart, I have the small burner. On the 2 quart, I have the little bit larger burner. Now, it's very, very important to select the right size burner. Also, you must know how to get the proper cooking temperature. Now, that's very simple. I've started both of these pans out on low. If you'll notice, this 1 quart, when I spin the lid does not spin. On the 2 quart, the lid spins freely. Now, if you'll notice on my burner here, what I did is I raised from the low position just about 1/8 of a turn. Now I know that's where I'm going to cook my waterless vegetables every single time for as long as I own this stove. Every stove does vary, so you need to make this test in your own kitchen. You notice on the 2 quart right here, you see all the bubbles. That means the heat is too high. That means you have to reduce the heat just slightly enough so you just get the vapor seal. Now, if you happen to pick the lid up and peek while you're cooking, you can't do that with waterless cooking because you break the seal and it just lengthens the time. So you don't have to worry about pot watching, mixing, or stirring. If you do break the seal, here's how to get it back again. Just simply take a little bit of water, pour it around the rim, and you'll notice the lid will actually start to spin freely again when you've reached the right temperature. That's how easy it is to cook waterless the Healthcraft way. As you can see, waterless cooking is relatively simple and easy. However, there's 2 vegetables that you have to be a little bit careful with, and that's corn on the cob and baked potatoes. Now, corn on the cob can be simply cooked in the husk. Now, the reason you have to be careful with these vegetables, they have starch in them. And when you begin to cook, the starch runs out and it'll scorch the bottom of the pan. Now, if you cook in the husk, you will not have that problem. Now, naturally, potatoes don't have a husk, so we're going to use a piece of paper towel. Just put that in the bottom of the pan, put the potatoes in, rinse them with water, pour the water off. Just the water that clings to the potatoes is what you'll cook in. That's waterless cooking. Put it on a low flame with the vent closed, and those potatoes will cook in 25 minutes. Corn will cook in 15 to 20. Welcome to this important section on greaseless cooking. Now, the most important thing to remember is anytime you're going to cook chicken, steaks, chops, any kind of red meat or poultry, you always want to start with a hot pan. Fish, meatloaf, or cake, you want to start with a cold pan. All your meats can be cooked on top of the stove in Healthcraft cookware. Now, right now I'm going to show you how to cook chicken in the liquid core electric skillet. Okay, this section is on pan broiling. What I've done is I preheated the liquid core electric skillet up to about 400 degrees. You can see the control right here. If you're going to cook chicken in one of the conventional skillets, you basically do it the same way. Just start on medium or medium high. Take your chicken, remove the skin, drop it into a hot skillet. No grease, no fat, no butter, no salt. Again, this is called pan broiling. This is the healthiest way to cook your chicken. Now we're going to put the lid on, open the vent. The vent will release the steam so you don't steam the chicken. There'll be no grease to clean up when you're finished cooking and no odors in your hairdo, draper, and furniture. This will cook up in just about 10 or 15 minutes or till the chicken loosens on one side, and then we'll flip it over. Now, anytime you're going to cook the chicken, steaks, chops, any kind of red meat or poultry, remember you start with a hot pan. Now, you notice when you first put the chicken in the pan, it's stuck. Now you can see how easy it is to turn. Now, once you've got it turned, you cook it another 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes on the other side, you get the most delicious chicken you've ever had in your life. You cook chicken, steaks, and chops the very same way. Roasting is basically the same as pan broiling in the beginning. What you want to do is preheat the pan, get it good and hot, and drop the roast in the pan and sear it on all sides, just like we've done here. Okay, now once the roast is browned on all sides, what you want to do is you want to put it fat side down. Now you notice I'm using a pretty high heat on this particular method because you want to brown the roast real good. To that, I'm going to add celery and onions. Now what I've done is 1 onion, 2 stalks of celery. Lay that around the roast. That'll form your condiment, gravy, and flavoring. Then you add your whole potatoes. Make sure the potatoes touch the side of the pans for cooking. And put your carrots on top of that. Now this is a complete meal that you'll cook on one burner. We're going to put the utility rack on top. I've slightly greased this pan here, and we're going to add a cake mix. Now you can use cornbread if you like. We're going to cover this and cook this entire meal. Roast beef, potatoes, carrots, onions, gravy, and a cake all on one burner. It cooks 10 minutes to a pound for medium rare. If you like it a little bit more cooked, 11 minutes to a pound for medium and 12 or 13 minutes to a pound for well. Very simple, very easy. This 5-pound roast will cook in 50 minutes, 10 minutes less than an hour, and you will not get any meat shrinkage. Basically, here's a good guide. 9 minutes a pound is rare, 10 minutes a pound is medium rare, 11 minutes a pound is medium well, and anything over 12 minutes a pound is well done. And you get the most delicious roast you've ever had on top of the stove with about this much gravy. This section is on pan frying. Now, pan frying in Healthcraft is much the same you would pan fry in other skillets or other pans. The difference here is we're going to use a lot less oil. So let's take a look. I'm going to show you how to cook breaded pork chops. Here we're going to use olive oil. I don't like to use butter because butter is high in cholesterol. Put just a little bit of olive oil in the pan. Make sure it gets around to all the different corners. Now you're ready to start cooking. What we're going to do is we're going to have a wet hand and a dry hand. I'm going to use milk because if you use egg, it'll actually turn black or brown on you. You've got one hand that's wet. This is your dry hand. Put it in the skillet. Let's do it one more time. All right, in your milk. A little bit messy. All right, with your wet hand, turn it over. You bread it. Now you do the same thing with fish or chicken, steaks, chops. If you want to bread, this is the way to cook with Healthcraft. But you'll notice we cook with a lot less oil. Look at how beautifully brown we've made this pork chop. Now, you know, we do use a little bit of oil when we bread because if we didn't, it would stick to the pan. But if you'll notice how little oil we did use, there's a great health factor there. And we did use olive oil, which is unsaturated. But look at that beautiful pork chop. You can do the same thing in your own home when you pan fry with Healthcraft cookware. Right now I'm going to show you how to cook a meatloaf on top of the stove. Now, remember what I said? Anytime you're going to cook fish, meatloaf, and cake, you always want to start with a cold pan. Chicken, steaks, chops, roast, you start with a hot pan. Here, we've taken 1.5 pounds of ground beef, 2 stalks of celery, 1 onion, a carrot, and a whole red potato, and we mix them together with saltine crackers, about a half of package. And after you mix them together, we're going to press them in the pan. Let's take a look. Now we're going to press this into the pan. It's ready to cook. Put it on a medium-low flame with the vent closed. This meatloaf will cook in anywhere between 15 to 25 minutes. Now I increased 1.5 pounds of ground beef to 3 pounds. 3 pounds, cook 10 minutes to a pound, 30 minutes on top of the stove. Maximum cooking time. Then you can top it with whatever you like. Spaghetti sauce, cream of mushroom soup, your choice. And that's how you cook meatloaf. These are Healthcraft's kitchen helpers. The Healthcraft kitchen machine, the Jetomatic herbal tea brewer and coffee maker, the Cheftel kitchen set of cutlery, and the new liquid core electric skillet by Cheftel. Now we're going to get into each one of these products, but right now we're going to take you to the Healthcraft kitchen machine. You know, Healthcraft started about a decade ago, or a little over a decade ago, with one machine, the old-fashioned three-legged based food process. You might remember that. We actually brought it back into existence. This is the new Healthcraft kitchen machine. Today it weighs about 8 pounds. It's not a gadget anymore. It's a kitchen appliance, and it comes apart so it's easy to clean and store. Now today we put one large suction cup on the bottom. That's a space saver. You put that down on any firm surface, turn the plunger handle from right to left. That locks the machine on in place. The top fits on the base, and then you're ready to go. It has 5 different cutting cones that come with it. These 5 cutting cones will do over 240 different cutting operations in the kitchen. It retails for the price of a good toaster oven or pop-up toaster. Yet it'll do the job machine that sells for over $200. Now this is blade number 1. See, all your blades are numbered on the bottom. A recipe and instruction book come with it to show you how to use it. When you want your blades on, you simply turn them on. You want them off, they come off. It's safe and easy to use. You don't have to worry about cutting yourself. It's not a meat cutter, it's a food cutter. And if you accidentally get your finger stuck down in here, we do have an automatic stopping device. This hand automatically stops every time. Actually, your fingers don't belong in there. You place your thumb here, your pinky here, use this as a flap. Now it does come with a protective guard. You can use it if you want. I just choose not to use it. It's still safe and easy to use. Now we're going to show you some cutting in just a second. I was doing a cooking show one day. A lady come up after the show, bought 2 of these, and I asked her what impressed her most. She said the graham crackers. So every time she wanted to make graham cracker pies, she put them in a paper bag, whale the dickens out of them with a rolling pin, and then roll over them. Well, you never have to do that again. Just run them through the number 1 blade. You get all the graham cracker pie crust, breadcrumbs, and cracker crumbs you want at the rate of a gallon a minute. Now you notice I'm just holding the graham crackers very lightly on the top of the machine. If I press down harder, you get big chunks. If you'll notice how nice and fine the cracker crumbs come out, they claim the finer the crumbs, the crispier the crust. Now you can use this for breadcrumbs also, so you can make your own breadcrumbs in the privacy of your own home. Here's another good money saver. Anytime you buy cheese, always buy it in bulk form. You see, a lot of people buy cheese in little containers. They give you the ends and leftovers, charge you $39 to $1.89 for an ounce, ounce and a quarter. That's $6 to $35 a pound. I bought this cheese this morning for $3.69 a pound. You get all the cheese you want, as much as you want. It's always fresh. Now, if you'll notice, I'm always cutting from the top of the machine. You see? Now, if I bear down easily, you get a nice fine cut. Now, watch what happens when I press just a little bit harder. See how the cut comes off a little bit stringier? All right? But you'll get a perfect cut every time. Now, this is perfect for your grated cheese, for your pastas, spaghettis. You can even use grated cheese in soup, stews, and spaghetti sauce. This here is a lemon. Now, anytime you need lemon, orange, or grapefruit flavoring, all the natural flavoring is right in the skin of the fruit. Just take your lemons, orange, and grapefruits, scuff them on the number 1 blade. There's no artificial colorings or flavorings. It's all Mother Nature's own. And you see, you can still use the lemon for whatever purpose you bought it for. There's enough lemon for a whole bunch of lemon cookies. Here's something else you can do that's neat. You know, around the holidays, a lot of times you have butternut squash and pumpkin pies. And if you've never made these from scratch, a pie from scratch, you don't know what you're missing. But if you had to cut and peel this piece right here, it'll take you all day. All you do is place the tough outer covering away from the blade. Now watch closely. This is the only machine in the world that'll not only chop your vegetables, it'll peel them all in one operation. Now this is all in the number 1 blade I'm using. Now if you cook this waterless like we showed you in the first part of the tape, all you have to do is cream this together with a fork, cinnamon, nutmeg, and brown sugar, you get the most delicious pie filling you've ever had in your life. And look at this. Anytime you need grated carrots, like, if you have a hard time getting the kids to eat their vegetables, take a carrot, run it through the #1 blade, put it between 2 slices of whole wheat bread, a little bit of honey and peanut butter, and the kids will go for it in a real big way. Now, you can also use grated carrot for carrot cakes. You can use it in soup, stews, spaghetti sauce. We use it as a salad topping. And look at this. A lot of people don't eat celery anymore because the tough, stringy fibers on the back here get caught in your teeth and gums. If you don't have your own snappers, you know what I'm talking about. Take the tough, stringy fibers, place it away from the blade. Notice I'm still cutting from the top. Watch the strings. See how they're coming out the bottom? That's because of the space in there. This will not only chop your celery for tuna fish and egg salad sandwiches, it'll also de-string the celery all in one operation. No other machine will do that. Now, that was all done on #1 blade. Now, you'll notice the whole time we're cutting, there's no juice dripping from the machine. It doesn't crush the vegetable, it cuts it. But look at this. Would you believe from one stalk of celery you get all that juice? You see, the juice of the vegetable is the blood of the vegetable. That's why they say when you peel and boil, you spoil. This is the only machine in the world that'll do these kind of cuts. Now, this is blade #2. This is a pretty neat blade, and I'm going to show you why I think it's really neat in just a second. But again, when you want your blades on, you simply put them on. You want them off, take them off. They're still safe, simple, and easy to use. First thing I'm going to cut on here is a carrot. Now, almost always you cut from the top. Here, we're going to let the carrot fall into the back, and what you're going to do is you're going to rotate it slightly as you turn the handle. Now, see, we're getting a nice, fine julienne cut. Now, this is perfect for just about any salad that you can actually think of. The thing that I like about the #2 blade, it gives you those fancy cuts that you can't get with most other food processors. But look what else you can do. If you wanted to do something fancy, like let's say with zucchinis, again with the #2 blade, just let it sit in the back if you like. All right? Just turn it slightly. This way it won't peel it also. See, if I just leave it sitting there, watch what happens to the big chunk of peel that comes out. See how that flipped out? Kind of changed the cut. That's why you have to rotate it slightly. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You get a perfect cut every time. Now, this is what really blade #2 was designed for, and that is chopping and peeling onions. Now, the first thing you've got to do is prepare the onion properly. You cut the onion from top to bottom, leaving the skins on. You place the skin up away from the blade. Now, see, the onion is already cut once in the shell. The machine is going to do the second cut and peel it at the same time. I want you to watch closely. Watch what happens, or you'll miss it. You see, there's your chopped onions, there's your peel. Comes out perfect every time. Let me do it one more time for the people in Canada. All right? You notice, cut it from top to bottom. Leave the skins on. Place the skin up away from the blade. Watch closely, you'll miss it. I'm using my fingers as a flap. I got my thumb here, my pinky here. All right? You get a perfect cut every time, and that's how you chop and peel onions with blade #2. This is blade #3. This is the blade that we use primarily for French fries. Again, just turn it on, you're ready to go. Now, the key to this is very simple. Always get long, skinny potatoes. Now, the bigger the potato, the bigger the fries. Some people put their potatoes in here like this, and they get these little stringy, short potatoes. That's not going to work. Lay the potato across. Place your pinky and thumb right here. All right, now watch what happens. Turn the machine, you get McDonald's or Burger King French fries at the rate of a gallon a minute. And that's how simple and easy it is to make French fries with the Healthcraft kitchen machine. Blade 4 is your slicer blade. It's just a straight blade, and it gives you a nice straight cut. Now, the whole thing to remember when you're using this machine is you want to get the blade moving about that fast. You just hold any vegetable firmly. Don't push hard, and you'll notice you'll get a perfect cut every time. Now, blade 4, again, is your slicer cut. Look at how beautiful that comes out. That's great for stir frying. Let's go to blade #5. You know, cabbage is cut once in the shell. So I'm going to show you how to place it in the machine because that's the most important thing. Now, you can also cut lettuce in the food processor, but only cut lettuce in the food processor if you're going to use it right away, because if you cut it and let it sit, it bruises it and it's going to turn brown. Cabbage will last a little bit longer. And cabbage is better for you too. So when you take your cabbage, place it in the machine either like this or like this. I always like to use the back side forward, and I just cut it on an angle. See, just turn the blade and you get a perfect cut every time. The nice thing about cabbage, it's rich in potassium, magnesium, iron, and phosphorus. It's a high fiber food. You should eat cabbage 2 or 3 times a week. It's a natural laxative, and it's 15 to 40 cents a pound, so it's a good buy. Cucumbers are good too, but don't peel them. You ever notice you eat a peeled cucumber, after a while it burps up on you? It's coming up looking for the skin you've taken off. Take your cucumbers, wash them with vinegar and water, and you'll notice I hold it perpendicular to the blade. Even with a soft cucumber like this one, you see I still get a perfect cut every time. You can do the same thing with zucchinis, and we'll top this salad off with a little bit of the carrot, the butternut squash, and the cheese that we cut previously, and there's your harvest salad done right before your eyes in less than a minute. Hi, this is the Healthcraft Herbal Tea Brewer and Coffee Maker. This is a coffee maker and tea brewer that you've never seen before. First of all, let me show you the inside. The only coffee maker and tea maker on the market that's all stainless steel inside and out. No other teapot or coffee pot is made that way. This is the jet pump. The way it works is very simple. It pumps the water over the coffee or tea 5 to 7 times a regular percolator. You can do 3 cups in 3 minutes, 10 cups in 10 minutes. This is the basket. You can see it's configured different than most on the market today. There is a measuring place inside where you can pour the water to whatever desired level you like. 2 tea bags, 1 to 2 tea bags will give you 10 cups of the most delicious tea you've ever had in your life, 2 to 3 scoops of coffee, the most delicious coffee you've ever had in your life. And it even has a special safety feature. The top lock's in place. And here's what you get. Here's some coffee we just brewed just a little while ago. Now I use 3 scoops of coffee because I like it strong. You get the most delicious coffee and tea you've ever had in your life with another American-made product from Healthcraft. Here's some more of Healthcraft's kitchen helpers. This is really something. This is a large turkey roast, all stainless steel. You don't find these around too often. This will hold up to a 12 to 15 pound turkey, and you can cook it on top of the stove or in the oven, whichever you prefer. We also have our blender over here. This is a commercial blender. This was designed and created by Chef Tell for us by the Waring Company. Now the nice thing about this thing, it's a 3 amp. This thing is so powerful to grind whole wheat to a flour, to liquefy and blend. Of course we have our 4.8 amp juicer. This is a centrifugal juicer made for us by Waring, and our 6-piece bakeware. Hi, you caught me. This is the special dish. See, it's the end of the day. We've had a long, hard day of taping. What I'm doing is I'm doing some buffalo shrimp. Now, taking some shrimp and I'm frying them or pan frying them in a little bit of margarine. You don't want to use butter because butter will brown, but that's up to you. You can choose your own. Some people like to use a little bit of olive oil. I like to use the margarine for flavoring, not too much. To that, we're going to add a little bit of soy sauce. I'm sorry, a little bit of hot sauce. It was soy sauce. We just changed the color. No, just kidding. All right, a little bit of seasoned salt, not too much. And here's the secret ingredients. Put a couple of pinches of breadcrumbs in with this. And this meal is for the crew. This is for all the hard work they've done. And we want to really thank the guys for doing a great job. And thank Healthcraft Cookware for doing the great job it does for us. And I know you'll enjoy it the way we enjoy it. All right? Here's your buffalo shrimp. Look at that. Isn't that delicious? How about it, guys? What do you think? You ready? I'm ready. Here it comes. Buffalo shrimp. All right. You know, anytime you're cooking any meat products or eggs or fish, you know, especially the ones we cook here today, the meatloaf, the roast beef, and the roast pork, you know, it's going to be a nightmare to clean. But look at, Healthcraft is pretty easy and simple to clean. All you've got to do is take hot soapy water, go around in circles, and you see how easy and everything comes right out of the pan. Now, if you do get some stubborn stains, we use a little bit of Barkeeper's Friend or Cameo stainless steel cleaner. Put it in the pan as dry as possible. Make sure you rinse out your sponge so that's dry because this is a slight abrasive. Just go around in circles, rinse with hot water, and the cookware comes out perfect every time. Now, if you're like most Americans, like I am, you can put these in the dishwasher. They're perfectly safe, even the electric skillet. And that's how simple and easy it is to clean Healthcraft cookware. I hope you enjoyed our video cookbook. By the way, I do recommend that you read the recipe and instruction book that comes with your set. And thank you for buying Healthcraft products. You know, all of our products are American-made. That means American jobs for America's future. If you have any questions or comments, please write to me directly. Charles Knight, the president of Healthcraft, at Box 262-502, Tampa, Florida, 33685. If you'd like to purchase any more products, contact your sales representative. And if you have a customer service need, call 813-885-5244. And again, thank you for buying Healthcraft products. We really appreciate it.